Dropsy is that clown that the folks.
Today I'm reviewing Dropsy, a game that I just finished on stream. It's funny because you see, when I look at the trailer like this, I remember why I thought, this game looks meh-ish. And that's why probably I didn't do it earlier, you know? I had bought it and I had kind of forgotten about it. This for me is not my style of narration, humor, culture and all that. I find it annoying, obnoxious and annoying. Even now it's actually annoying me. But that's why now I want to talk about the game and why it is good. Dropsy is really good. Dropsy surprised me a lot. Video-wise, here it's obviously an old school style game. The gameplay is obviously a point and click, so the visual kind of come with it. It looks very, you know, pixelated, a bit too pixelated, because basically if you play it in full screen like right now, I'm often a bit confused about the stuff that I see on the screen. The art is pleasant. It's very reminiscent of Lucas Arts and all that style, you know, pixel stuff. If you play the games like the old Day of the Tentacle, Sam & Max and all that, it's really similar to that. It's a bit rougher, okay? It's not as good, but it's still very decent. There's still some places that are pretty. Especially one thing that I really loved was the fact that here you can see the time in-game changing. So basically you've got a morning, evening, night and so on. Depending on how long you play, if you keep changing screens, it changes. And that also changes the scenery, right? The background, the sky and all that. I find that super cool. That's not something you often see in a game like a point and click. So that was cool. Beside that, it's obviously a game that is a bit provocative, right? Because you see some cute stuff. It's a clown, but the clown is ugly. All these animals are a bit weird. There's some animals that are actually even ugly, like monsters, you know? That's the idea here behind the game, to make something at the same time cute and also very scary, very, you know, awkward. It's disturbing. If you're not shocked by that kind of old pixelated retro style, you should be fine. Audio-wise, the audio is really cool. Music is really cool, although a bit repetitive, but there's many loops. It's a mix of weird and quirky and grunge and all that, but there's some very cool tunes. The atmosphere is definitely here to make you on edge. And talking about the voiceover, there's no voiceover in this game. There's just, you know, like sound effects, oh, that kind of thing. Why? Because Dropsy has the amazing feature of not having any dialogues or voiceover. The story is all told with images, symbols, and I didn't think it would work. You can see it here, right? When the characters talk, they don't talk per se. You've got these little bubbles like in a comic book, and that tells you what they mean. That was a remarkable thing in this game. You can see here, you know, you have the typical icon of talk, but when you talk, this is only what you see. Some icons. And I thought it would be not enough to tell a deep story, but I was wrong. We'll talk about that later. Let's talk about the gameplay first. That's what I'm talking about here in gameplay. The gameplay here is very typical of a point and click. You've got your cursor, you've got your little menu at the top, and you click on things. You see, you can see me here trying to look, is there anything that I can interact with? Oh, yes, there is something. And it doesn't know what to do, so you'll have to figure out. So your typical puzzle, you know, that's your typical puzzle of point and click. Any character needs something, an item. You have an inventory, so you can go in your inventory to grab stuff and see if you can do anything with it. You can find most puzzles in this game because they all make sense. It's not an old school point and click where you need to find crazy links between all the items, you know, crazy interactions. It's not that kind. I think we call it, what was it? I think Stone called it something like the moon effect or whatever, moon puzzle. It's not like that. Everything make mostly sense. There's also another thing in this game. You can see I've got a little dog with me and I've got my character. The whole game revolves around the idea of you give hugs. You know, that's your typical, the clown, even if he's ugly and scary, he gives hugs. He is here to to be nice, okay? That could be taken as your typical joke and nothing more. But if you do the game, you'll see that towards the end, you understand why. That's crazy that they managed to give a deep meaning to that. But I'm getting ahead of myself, and I don't want to spoil too much. But basically, you can give hugs to all the characters, and that's part of your objective in the game. And you have other little objectives with your animals, such as the dog, that you can interact with in the world and all that. So the gameplay is typical point and click. I wouldn't go too far here and say this is awesome. It's just a decent point and click kind of thing. And now we reached probably the most important part of the review, which is the content. That's where I would put my foot down and say this is where you need to decide if you're going to play the game, because this is the most remarkable thing in Dropsy. It's the core of the game, right? Well, Dropsy, while being basic point and click with a retro style, has a huge story in it, has a huge writing in it. It's not metaphysical and philosophical and intellectual in any way, right? I'm not going to give this game a 10 out of 10, but the story is not foolish. The story is not provocative joke for like a couple of hours in a gory point and click whatever. No, the story is wow. I've recently played a game like Crow Country, and I think I might go as far as to say it goes beyond Crow Country. Crow Country surprised me because I thought it would be a very cool little, you know, horror survival game, and it surprised me by having a very nice story, very well written, that I would give probably a, I don't know, 8.5 or 9 out of 10 story. Really nice, right? Really good. Okay, let's say, yeah, probably 8.5. Here, the story, it's a 9 minimum. 9.5-ish out of 10 story. Story is remarkable, like really. Everything has been thought. All these, you know, quirky, ridiculous, like, yeah, like it looks funny, right? Like it's just a joke all around, but it isn't. Everything, all the little icons that you see, the cross, I don't know, everything, all the characters say what they are, what they tell you about. There's story everywhere. The lore is really thought, and I think that's what impressed me the most in Dropsy. If you expect a stupid game that you finish in a couple of hours and there's not much to it, this is where everybody would be wrong. Remarkable story. I can't spoil, but I invite anybody who starts a game to go further, right? Don't play for like half an hour and put it down. Give it at least a couple of hours and you'll see that there's more. And the more you play and the more you'll have huge plot twists, in my opinion, that some might expect in a way. You can feel there's something, right? The more you play, and you can feel this. Oh, there's stuff. They're going to reveal stuff. So obviously, when it happens, you're not like, oh, my mind is blown. I just thought, you know, you still, oh, I knew there was something, but you didn't know what. And the game keeps surprising you. And in that sense, I think it's remarkable. So content-wise, Dropsy is brilliant. And finally, talking about other stuff, if any, such as the length. Dropsy is really fast. Like I see some people finishing it in a couple of hours on YouTube. It took me, I can't remember how long it took me. It says here 6 hours on Steam. Okay, I finished it in 6 hours, and I didn't get everything. So if you're a completionist kind of guy, you definitely take, yeah, more. 10 hours maybe. I don't know how long the achievements take, but there's still a lot to it. And also there's a lot to discover in the game that reward you in terms of lore, story explanation, characters writing and all that. Why? Because there's no dialogues, so you need to interact with everything to know what the hell this is all about. So yeah, lengthwise it is a short game, but I think it goes with the price. And that's why I usually talk I talk about replayability. I don't think there's much replayability to it, but it's especially since there's no dialogue, right? I would say you can replay a game such as Full Throttle or Day of the Tentacle because the dialogues are here to, you know, please you in terms of writing. Here it's more enjoying the world and discovering everything again. There's no much replayability in my opinion. Price-wise, how much is the game? The game is $15. Okay, so that's probably something like, I don't know, a bit less than $10 US. That totally fits the game. I would say you can not even wait for a sale because $10 for this is totally worth it. That's a very good price. The devs, I've seen them talk on the Steam discussion forum. They were really cool. They look like very cool guys, and apparently it's just mostly like 1 or 2 guys. So that's also the impressive part. We have here a game that looks like a LucasArts game, not as big. No, the scope is much lesser, but for 2 guys I still find that impressive, and it was a Kickstarter, I believe. So that's it. Oh yeah, I could say that, for instance, I did not do 100%, so all the achievements I did not. You can see here, you see that guy with an eye patch? It looks, it would be a stupid photo in a point-and-click game, but here it has a meaning. I didn't do the little quest about that guy, for instance, so I didn't complete the game 100%. So there's still more for me to discover if I had the time, if I took the time to discover. I'm still very happy with it, but that's just a disclaimer. I don't think my judgment would change if I completed the game 100%. I just think it would raise actually a bit more, like instead of, I don't know, instead of saying that note, that would be that note 0.1, 0.2 higher. Because I think the more you discover in this game and the more you're like, oh, and that's what it means. Oh, and he's that character. It's really that kind of game. To finish, as a total, what do I give Dropsy? Is it a good game? Definitely worth a try? Yes, of course. That's a tough one. I would probably give it an A-. Great game. Play this if you can. Clown out of 10? A-. And that means I would give it something like 80. If it was just above the 88, that would be an excellent game. You should definitely do it. No, I think it would be a great game. Play this if you can. I can't remember what I gave Crow Country. I keep saying it's lower than it's higher, sorry, than Crow Country. I think not. I think Crow Country and Dropsy are very similar. I gave Crow Country an A. Excellent game. You should definitely do it. Interesting. That's a tough one. I was about to give it an 88. And the 88% in my system is between A- and A. It's literally the same. What did I give to Crow Country? A 91. Wow, I gave the Crow Country a very high rating. Very high rating. Dropsy, I feel like Dropsy goes even beyond in terms of story. Maybe it's because the gameplay and all that, and all the gameplay and art and is lesser, but it's very similar. Oh, I feel bad now because I don't think I should give this game less than Crow Country. But at the same time, can I lower my rating of Crow Country? I think at the end of the day, I enjoy more the gameplay of a game like Crow Country, and that's probably why I give it 91. I'm going to give this one the 88, I thought, but it could be an A-. What would be the minus for it? Is there any minus thing in it? Not so much. So I'm going to give it an 88, 89. Let's make it an 89. So like that, it's an A. I'm giving Dropsy an 89. 89%. Yeah, let's make it like that. I'm not 100% satisfied, but I think it's fair. 89%. Excellent game. It's an excellent game. I think it's I was about to say it's a very good way to show that point-and-click games are not dead nowadays, but it's actually 10 years old. So I'm late to the party. And that's probably why I give it an A-. I think 10 years ago, I would have given it, an 89 and an A. And maybe because I played today, I was thinking it would be an A-, but that's not fair in a way. And I still think it tells a story that very few games, even today, do. So in that regard, I should keep it at 89% A. Excellent game. You should definitely do it if you're interested in point and click. There you go. That's my review of Dropsy.